Well, how's it going, everyone? Long time no see. To my regular subscribers, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here. To the people who have never seen my channel before, I'd like to welcome you. This is the first diesel swap project I've ever attempted on this channel. I've never done anything this in depth before, and I'm really excited. It has taken over a year of planning, saving up the money to do this, buying parts, finding parts, going all over my area to find the right stuff, and I finally gathered it all. So I rearranged the entire garage. There's more stuff that I rearranged behind me. The entire garage is opened up to pull an engine. So I really have put a lot of work into this project. I just want to go kind of do an overview. Like right over here is a 6-speed manual transmission. I'm going to go over why I chose that. I don't have one, not two, but 3 project vehicles outside right now, and I'll explain in a minute why. But I've never gone in depth this much on a project before on YouTube. So I'm really excited. This is just going to be an introduction, so when I finally start wrenching, you guys aren't confused of why I'm doing things in a certain way. So let's get into it. So flipping the camera around, this has all been organized, so I have plenty of bench space to tear stuff down, work on things. This is the 6-speed manual transmission that I'm using. Now this is a Getrag NSG 370. This is a 6-speed manual transmission that I got from a 2006 Wrangler Rubicon. The Rubicons, I believe, were the only ones that had the 6-speed manuals, and these were only put in Jeep for 2 years, 05 and 06, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So the reason I'm using that is because, one, it was in my area, to be honest. There's several other transmissions that I could have used, but that was the cheapest and the closest nearby, and it's the only 6-speed out of the list of transmissions that I could have used. So it's kind of a bonus. Has a taller first gear, still has a great overdrive. It'll be perfect for this little diesel engine I'm going to use. And speaking of diesel engines, so not only do we have one Dodge Dakota, but we have 2, and I'll get into that in a minute. But that is the donor car that's going to be going in that truck. Or, sorry, that truck. So this is a 2001 Volkswagen Golf, and this isn't a really impressive car, but what's under the hood is what I need. Now this has the 1.9 liter ALH TDI, and this is where the majority of the project is going to be surrounded by. So this has 90 horsepower, 155 foot-pounds of torque. It's not much. It's a tiny little engine, but it's going to be enough to power that Dakota. So this gets about 40 miles to the gallon, just as it is. In this tiny little car, this hatchback, gets 40 miles to the gallon. Hopefully, this thing, once it's in the Dodge Dakota, it should get about 30 miles to the gallon, because it's about 1,000 pounds heavier. So I gotta take this car, strip out the engine, sell the transmission and everything else that I don't need. I'm gonna need the computer, the N75 valve. That's the EGR. I don't know what I'm going to do with that quite yet. Obviously get a bigger exhaust on there and have some fun with it, but for now that's the diesel engine that I'm going to be using, and it's going to take a lot of work to get the wiring harness complete, because I don't need all these wires. I don't need this. I don't need a lot of the vacuum lines. A lot of the stuff out here in here has to be deleted, so that's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. So I bought this Dodge Dakota first 2 weeks ago, and this is a 2001 Dodge Dakota, has a 5.9 liter Magnum in it, and it's kind of rough. It's seen better days. I got this for $1,000 and it only has 156,000 miles on it. It's a pretty good truck. I hadn't run since 2018. I dragged it home on the rollback, and I quickly discovered that it needs some things here and there. Kind of has it's pretty cool. It has a video screen back here. That's pretty cool to see in a truck from the 2000s. But this is an automatic. Now I would have to convert this to a manual, and it's a little bit harder than I thought. So the clutch pedal here, or excuse me, the brake pedal would have had to been removed. I would have had to find a clutch pedal, brake pedal setup, unbolt this, bolt that back in, drill a hole in the floor for the shifter. Obviously this shifter wouldn't be useful. Just a lot of nitpicky things that would have nickeled and dimed me, and it wouldn't have been very efficient. And while I'm here, I'll just get a look under the hood. this would have been great to use, but it doesn't have a clutch master cylinder. Would have had to have a slave cylinder. It's the same engine bay as that truck. It just would have taken a little bit more work. So no more than 2 weeks after I bought this truck popped up on Facebook Marketplace. Now, they look exactly the same, but there's a key difference in here that was worth spending another $1,000 and dragging home another truck. This has a 5-speed manual in it. So the TDI won't bolt up to this NV3500. There's no adapter plate that'll work in. The starter is just in the wrong spot, and it's not going to work. So I won't get into it, but it has the hole in the floor for the NSG 370. There's no PRND123 on the gauge cluster there, so that's a bonus. It has the clutch pedal, brake pedal set up, so I can use those existing parts, and this whole center console is going to be able to be used as well. So all in all, it's just a better setup to put in a custom 6-speed manual transmission and a TDI. Under the hood, this has the 4.7 liter Magnum engine, and I'm just going to sell this engine. I don't need it one bit, but that's why I chose a TDI, because it's such a small engine and fits into a V8 engine bay. There's going to be plenty of room on each side of the frame rail, top and bottom. It's not going to hit the hood. It's not going to hit the front axle. It's going to fit perfectly inside here. I'm going to have to make engine mounts, going to have to fabricate that, but the transmission cross member that's on the NV3500 will actually mate up to the exact same transmission mount as the NSG 370. So it's a pretty good start to a build. Has the clutch fluid master cylinder here. The slave cylinder will actually bolt up to the NSG 370. So all in all, for $1,000, it was worth it to have these parts already installed on the truck. So guys, that's the overview. There's other things that I probably left out that I'm forgetting. If I wanted to keep on rambling, this could be a 30-minute long video. I didn't want that. I just want to show you the highlights of what I'm doing, what I'm planning, and hopefully you guys stick around to see this build take place, because I'm really excited. This has been months and months and months of planning. In the meantime, I put thousands of dollars into these into these trucks. The planning, I rearranged my entire garage. I know you can't see all of it right now, but I hope you appreciate that I took a ton of my time to make this happen. And it's all fallen into place. You know, it's been pretty great. All the projects here, the first Dodge Dakota was in town. The second Dodge Dakota was 45 minutes from my house. The 6-speed manual transmission was 30 minutes from my house, and the Volkswagen Golf was 6 miles from my house. It's all been in the area. I haven't had to drive across the country to get stuff. It's really fallen into place. So the reason I'm doing this project is because I wanted something unique for diesel swap. And when people say diesel swap, they immediately think you got to drop $10,000 on something. I'm here to prove that you don't have to do that. Right now I have $1,000 in the Dodge Dakota, another $1,000 in the second Dodge Dakota, and $1,500 in the Volkswagen Golf. The transmission costs $500, and I need an adapter plate that's going to be about a grand, give or take, depending on what company I go with. So all in all, that's about $5,000. That automatic Dodge Dakota that I showed you earlier, I don't need that truck. That's an extra truck. I'm going to sell that truck, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think that's going to be able to pay for the entire project as a whole, let alone the automatic transmission that I'm going to be selling out of that Volkswagen, the manual transmission I'm going to be selling out of that Dodge Dakota with the 4.7. I got tons of engines and parts here to more than enough to pay for this entire project. And that's pretty cool, because a lot of guys, when you drop a Cummins in an engine right there, it's 5-10 grand plus the donor vehicle plus the adapter plate. You're looking at maybe $10,000-$15,000 if you really want to get a quality build. Here, a little bit of fabrication, a little bit of know-how, selling parts, it's almost going to pay for itself, almost. So I'm really excited about that. Another reason I did it was I wanted a project that had great fuel economy. I don't need a truck that gets 1,000 horsepower. That's been done a million times over, and I wanted something a little bit more unique. Now, someone actually put a TDI in a Dodge Dakota Sport down in Idaho. Really awesome guy. I got to talk to him actually of his build, and I wanted to actually not just show the finished project. I wanted to show it from the beginning to the end. I wanted to show that entire process. just because I think it's fun to watch. I would enjoy watching that, and I think you guys would too. And I wanted something that got 30 miles to the gallon. I think because that Dodge Dakota is 1,000 pounds heavier than the TDI Golf, I think it's going to get 30, maybe 32 or more miles per gallon. I will say this, I'll be very surprised if it gets less than 30. But we'll just let the chips fall where they may. It's a bone stock TDI, no tuners, no upgraded turbo, no upgraded injectors. It's a bone stock TDI. So we'll start there. We'll start with a stock build, and if we need to, if it's just lugging, if it can't push that much truck, we'll go to maybe a stage 1, stage 2 build. But for now, I think it's going to have plenty of power to push this truck going 70 miles an hour down the road. So that's the build, guys. If you have any questions that I haven't answered here, please ask them down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this build. I'm going to get started on this project truck. It's going to be one heck of a journey. I've never done anything this in-depth before, and I'm really excited because this is all going to be learning. I've never pulled an engine. I've never pulled a transmission. Everything that you see here, I've never done before, literally. I don't have a background in mechanics, guys. I literally started 10 years ago with Auto Mechanics for Dummies, and this is where it's led to. So I'm excited, guys. Hope you stick around.